Ciao everyone, my name is Julia and I make videos to help you design a life you love and make space for what's truly important. Today we are decluttering skincare as part of my decluttering series, and I'm gonna give you a lot of tips that you can use not only to know what skincare to declutter and what skincare to keep, but also so that once you're done decluttering, you are not gonna buy this skincare anymore and you're not gonna be in this situation ever again. This is actually the fourth video, so if you've missed the other videos, do check out my playlist, which I'll pop here, and make sure to let me know if there are any area of your life where you would like some help decluttering so I can make a video about it. Let me show you how much I'm decluttering today. It's kind of crazy. It's this whole box. It has 25 products in it. So the first skincare that we're gonna declutter is anything that contains sensitizing ingredients that can irritate your skin. This includes fragrances, essential oils, and then things like limonene, which is often used to give a fragrance to your skincare, but it actually can be very irritating as well. So for example, here's some of the things I'm decluttering. I have this Dear Claire's calming cream that is supposed to be a calming cream, but it actually has eucalyptus in it and it's very irritating to me specifically. Sometimes you'll see that these products can be really irritating and sometimes they'll be totally fine for you. So just because I'm decluttering something, it doesn't mean that you have to declutter it, but it's just something to think about. And then I also have this serum that for whatever reason irritates my skin, so I'll be decluttering this one too. And then also this moisturizer, which contains chamomile, which is supposed to be a calming ingredient as well, but some people are allergic to chamomile. And yeah, I found it a little bit irritating for my skin as well. So what do you do if you start using a product and you realize that your skin really doesn't like it? Well, luckily, there is an awesome organization in the US called Project Beauty Share, where you can send them your gently used or new products, and then they actually donate them to people in need, like for example, women who have been abused or in homeless shelters or just need that extra support. And this is really awesome because that way you don't have to feel bad if something doesn't work for your skin specifically. You can still donate it and you're actually doing some good. So the second type of skincare you'll want to declutter is anything that's expired. And there's actually an easy way to see if a product is expired, which I didn't know for the longest time, but let me show you, it will blow your mind. Okay, so a lot of products, hopefully this one has it. Of course this one does not have it. Let me see if I can find something. Okay, so a lot of products, I don't know if you'll be able to see this because it's super small, but they show if something is expired in like a little jar. But basically there's gonna be a little jar on your products, and then inside the jar you'll see either 12 months, 36 months, or however many months that product is good for. And so what that means is that once you open that product, you should finish it within that time period. And you know, you can even be super intense about it and actually write it down in a notebook so that whenever something is expired, you will throw it out. For me, I am not as good about throwing away expired things as I should be. So I'm actually decluttering some things that I had for 6 or 7 years. Obviously, I haven't used them, but I guess I was just too lazy to declutter them, or maybe thought that I would use them at some point. But that is actually really bad because when you're using products that are expired, they can actually be harmful to your skin. They can have bacteria growing in it and they can cause acne and things like that. So definitely do not keep things beyond the date that you should keep them, and do keep attention to when you're opening something. And a trick that I do, we'll talk about this more later, but I really like to just have one thing at a time that I use. And so like, for example, if I open up a moisturizer, I'll just use that moisturizer and I'll just finish it, you know, right away and use it every day until it runs out. And that's a good way to make sure that things are not expired. And if you find yourself not using something for a while, then once the season changes, then definitely change it up. Now, if it's something like vitamin C, then that's a whole different story, because vitamin C is a very unstable ingredient that can oxidize. And so when you see your vitamin C becoming yellow or brown, then don't use it anymore, because that means that it's oxidized and it can actually be harmful to your skin. So very good to declutter that, and just throw it out if it's not good anymore. And what I like to do is I like to keep it in the fridge, because then it's fresher for longer and it slows down the oxidation of the active ingredient. The other thing you can do to prevent things from kind of degrading more quickly is actually don't keep them in the bathroom. That way it's not as humid and bacteria won't grow as easily. Also consider buying things with preservatives, which there are some companies nowadays that don't have preservatives in their ingredients, and they say that that's like a good thing. But for me, I actually prefer having some preservatives in my skincare, because the last thing I want is to have bacteria growing in my skincare or anything like that. But if you do choose something that doesn't have any preservatives, then use it up right away, put it in the fridge, make sure that it doesn't grow anything in there that shouldn't be in there. I feel like I had something else I wanted to share. Oh, the other cool thing that you can do is just pay attention to packaging. Let me see if I have something I can show you. Okay, so for example, this packaging I love because it's airtight, and like you open it like this and then you close it like this. So something in packaging like this actually keeps your product fresher for longer and your actives fresher for longer. Something like a tub, once you open it up and it's exposed to air, the product starts degrading and bacteria can grow in it and all of that. And that's probably why Project Beauty Share doesn't allow things like this. That's probably why they don't want those type of products. But yeah, just something to keep in mind also when you're buying products. Look for products that will stay really good and active for longer, so that you don't have to declutter them. Anyways, moving on. I feel like I had a lot to say about this one topic. So the third type of skincare you should declutter is skincare that you don't really use, even if maybe you should, but it's just maybe a type of skincare that you never get around to actually using. And for me, it's definitely body lotions. I have so many body lotions that I've accumulated over the years, really, and unfortunately I don't really use them. Luckily enough, most of these are unopened, so I'm excited about donating them and not buying any more body lotions ever again. There is one body lotion that I will be keeping, and it's this one. And the reason I'm keeping it is that one of my friends, Alina, thank you, Alina, gifted it to me, and I love using it because it really does remind me of her and it smells really nice. So I'm actually using this one, which is kind of surprising. But other than that, if you know that there's something that you keep buying but you don't actually use it, like let's say, for example, face serums or anything like that, then try to wean yourself off of buying new ones, knowing that you're actually not going through them and not utilizing them. For me, anything that isn't strictly necessary is what I consider superfluous. So this includes toners, eye creams, and face masks. Now, if you want to use these things, you totally can. And in fact, I actually have one face mask that I really love using, which is this one. What I do is I put it in the fridge, and then if I need any extra pampering, I will put it on maybe once a week, and I do use it, I do love it. So that's the one superfluous thing that I include in my skincare routine sometimes. But other than something that you want just for fun, you really don't need these products. So let me show you what I'm decluttering. So the first thing are toners. And these toners, I actually completely finished them because I did love them. I especially love this one. Now, I don't really want you to buy them, so I'm not necessarily gonna talk too much about them, but I used to think that toners were necessary, and I always used to put them right after washing my face. But then I learned a little trick. So what I do now is I simply leave my face wet, and for me that kind of acts as a toner, and then I put all my products on top of my wet face and it works really well. So now I don't need toners anymore. So the other product that I don't think people really need is eye creams. So eye creams, in my opinion, I feel like all these things, toners, eye creams, serums, some of these things can actually be beneficial, but what I think really happened was, the skincare people were like, hey, we want to sell more products. Okay, let's create this 10-step routine so that we can sell 10 different products, make more money, all of that. I don't think that eye creams are necessarily necessary, and Paula's Choice agrees with me. They actually have a really nice article that explains when an eye product can be helpful and when it's not really necessary. So I'll link it down below so that you can do your own research and find out whether you think that you should keep using your eye products or not. For me, I'm super happy with just having one moisturizer and just using everything all over my face. Okay, so the last thing on my list are gimmicky products. Here's a couple of the ones that I'm decluttering, and I will finish both of these, but I won't buy them again, and you shouldn't either. But one of them is called the Facial Pilates Mask, and it's one of those masks that when you put it on your skin, it dries almost like when you're putting, I don't know if anyone has ever tried this, but in Italy, we will put the egg whites on our face and let it dry, and that's supposed to help with, like blackheads. But yeah, it's kind of like that feeling. It dries on your skin and you look really old and wrinkly and kind of scary, and I like to actually scare my boyfriend when I'm wearing it. But aside from being entertaining to use and kind of painful to use, I haven't really seen a difference with my skin, so I'm not gonna buying it again. And then the second one is this one is a balancing gel, and it's almost like putting honey on your skin, but even thicker than honey, and it's supposed to be a moisturizer, and it does work, and it feels very gimmicky, and I don't really like using it because it takes many what feels like hours for it to dry. And so if you want to try to go to sleep and you're wearing it, it'll stick to your pillow and it's just not fun. So once this is done, I will not be buying this again. In general, whenever there's a product that seems kind of like fun to use but not really that useful, like I'm thinking about a lot of these face masks, like the ones that you peel off, and the black ones. Like there's so many products that seem really fun to use, but I don't necessarily think that they're helpful. So always ask yourself, are you buying a product because it looks really appealing and interesting, or are you buying it because you've done your research and the ingredients look really good and you really think that it's going to make a difference to your skin? And I think in general with face masks and things like that, they don't stay in your skin that long, so I don't feel like they're as necessary as a moisturizer, which is more of something that I would say like is essential and really helpful for your skin. So I don't know, there's certain things that you don't necessarily need is what I'm trying to say, and your money could be better spent elsewhere. So definitely be thoughtful about what you introduce into your life, and that's what we're gonna talk about now. Because now that we've decluttered, I got rid of 25 things, which is crazy. Well, now though, we need to make sure we don't buy new things so that we keep everything simple and minimal, and that we don't end up with 25 more products next year that we need to declutter. So keep on watching, and I'll talk you through all the different ways that you can make sure that you're not introducing too many new products into your life. Okay, so here's all the tips. Tip 1, only own one of each product. So what does that mean? Have one moisturizer, one serum, which I know can be really hard for a skincare lover, but please try to only have one serum at a time, one toner if you must have a toner, one sunscreen, and so on. And this is really helpful for a couple of reasons. First of all, it helps to make sure that the product is always really fresh and that the active ingredients are the most effective that they can be. It ensures that the product is not expired because you're using it every single day. And then also, if you're using a smaller number of products and there's anything that maybe your skin is sensitive to, it's going to be easy for you to identify which product is the one that's causing the irritation, because it's the one thing that you just introduced into your skincare routine. So definitely this is a tip that has really changed how I consume skincare, and it's really made my life a lot easier. Tip number 2 is to replace the products only once they're finished. I used to be one of those people that was really scared of running out of moisturizer, as if my life would end if I had to go one day without moisturizer. And honestly, I feel like that might not have happened. Like I think I always have a moisturizer on hand no matter what. But sometimes what that means is that I end up having 3 or 4 different moisturizers that are open all at once, which is not ideal for all the reasons we've talked about. So instead, what I do now is I wait until my moisturizer or whatever product it is running really, really low. And I feel like I only maybe have 1 week left or 2 weeks left. And that's when I buy the replacement for that specific product. And that's really helped me to make sure that I only have one thing that I'm using at once and don't have too many things kind of lying about. And yeah, once you have your skincare routine in place, keep it that way. And don't add anything new, at least for a year or for as long as you can. I actually have a skincare routine that I've been using for, I think, 1 to 2 years now. And some products I've been using for 3 to 4 years or 5 years or even more. Basically, what I do is once I find a product that I like, I almost pretend like other skincare does not exist. And sometimes I do have to stop watching some of my favorite skincare YouTubers or things like that, because I do find that whenever I watch a YouTuber that's really into skincare and they say like, oh, and there's this new product that you should try, then they make it sound really appealing and I'm always like, oh yeah, I should try it. So anyways, try to resist that temptation as much as you can. And even if you see some compelling new product, worst case scenario, if you really want to try something new, you can always wait until your existing product has run out and then replace it with the new product. But I would advise you not to do it, because every time that you replace the old product with the new, what usually ends up happening is you don't like the new product as much as the old one, and you just regret purchasing it, and maybe you have to return it or force yourself to use it until the end. So you might as well just use whatever product that you already know that you love. And I also think that marketers are really good about making each product sound like it's better than the old one, and just more helpful to the skin and more revolutionary. But what I found is that at the end of the day, that's not the case. Products are quite similar, especially when they have similar ingredients in them. And so what I do now is I pay more attention to the actual ingredients rather than to the product itself. So my last tip is to keep your skincare routine simple. And if you're curious about a skincare routine that's simple and yet effective, definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I'm actually gonna share my skincare routine in one of my next videos. And I'm really excited to share it because really I've been passionate about skincare for the last 10 years. And I've kind of honed and perfected my skincare routine over the years by trying too many products and, failing a lot. But now I have a routine that I really love and that I'd love to share with you. So if you'd like to see it, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell, as I said, and I'll see you in that next video, and I'm excited to share my routine with you. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao!
I don't wanna stay here, no. Ain't gonna keep it low now. If you wanna go, let's go. Let's wrap it up and